Hello and welcome to the CTC Nations E-League Season 1 Championship. And today you join us for the opening race of the season here in Melbourne, Australia. A circuit first used for Formula 1 back in 1996, with the idea first breached in 93. It's been a good couple of years for them to just sort out how things will work. Here's a brief little track map, 5.2 kilometers long, or if you like your Imperial system, 3.3 miles with 14 corners and, of course, 3 DRS zones. Plenty of opportunity for overtaking into turn 1, turn 3, turn 10, and then maybe the sneaky little dive up the inside into turn 11, 12, maybe 13 as well. Of course, depends on who gets the DRS, and then you can just drag it out on the straight and then straight into turn 1, as is per usual. So that's the track guide pretty much. That's what we'll be racing on for the next hour and a half. We have a short qualifying session to look forward to, as well as half race length, which is about 29 laps here at Melbourne. But before we get going, I thought it's good I introduce myself first. My name is Yanis, and I'm joined alongside me is Mike Edwards. How are you tonight? Oh no, still not working, is it? Oh man. Well, I mean, I've got the thing up here, so we'll yeah, we'll figure it out. I just need to double check whether you're coming through on the OBS thing, because for some reason it isn't. That is no worries. We shall just do that. Cool. Anyways, of course, last week it was the qualifying session for the Nations E-League, deciding who is going to be competing in our 10-round championship. 10 teams managed to make it in, or shall I say 10 countries. Norway and the United Kingdom unable to squeeze in there. UK, after the first qualifying session, behind by more than a second, pretty much, well, just under a second, I would say. No, it was just over a second. I'm going back and forth in it. But anyways, they did not manage to get a second driver to show up for Brazil, and as such, it was an automatic disqualification or an automatic P-last. We then had an exciting battle between Poland, Norway, and potentially the Netherlands as well, as to who was going to make it into that top 10. At the end of the day, it was Poland who just about managed to pip Norway to P10, and as a result, Norway and the United Kingdom will not be participating this season. However, on the bright side, we had Czechia with Jan Halliday on the top with a 124.8 at Silverstone, setting pole there, with Gabriel Quintino for Brazil coming in clutch for them as well, bringing them up to P5, because they were quite far low as well. They were quite close to maybe P9, P10. And yeah, on home soil, they managed to absolutely deliver and stay at the front 4,000ths, separating them and Krisu driving for the Finland team. Now that's the standings overall, but of course we have different drivers up for tonight's race here at Australia. And on home soil, we have Riley Mackie and Jacob Kanias, joined by the Chechen squad of Jan Halliday and Denis Kamensky, some familiar names there. Netherlands are running Yanil and Triskio, while France is hosting Namsco and Rayan Bakar, who participated in the Mexico social race. Then got Tom and Luca, again, very familiar names driving for Germany tonight, while the Spanish squad are running Abdullah Bulaich and Carlos Galindo. Again, very familiar names. Finland has got Alexi Kavira and Krisu lining up on the grid tonight, while Brazil will be running Yao Piana and Kevin Diniz. Poland has Chris Biedzinski and Paulos, while the US, last but not least, hosts Cloud and Nick Arrow. Again, very familiar names that we've heard before throughout the couple social races that we've done this season, and the qualifying session as well. Now, before we get underway, just a quick little reminder of our calendar. Round 1, 30th of July starts today. We've got 10 weeks of racing to look forward to, with a break somewhere. I think that might be between round 5 and round 6, the halfway mark. I've yet to confirm that, though. And then, of course, we have our points system as well. Just take a quick look at that. Just to summarize it, really, top 15 score points. It is only 1 point difference between each position consecutively from 4th down, while P1 only gets 22 points instead of the traditional 25. You've then also got potential for some extra points in the fastest lap and pole position, earning 1 point for each in the race and the qualifying sessions, respectively. Now, with all that said, I think it's time we head down to the circuit. Cool. So as you can see, we're on 12 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. Mike, have you managed to connect yet? I think is a good question to ask at this time. Okay, cool. So we'll have a little rundown then of who's out on circuit at the moment. We've got 17 drivers out. Jan Halliday on top with a 1:14.728. Will Triskio is joining him up in the top 3 with a 14.751. And it's then Namsco for France with a 1:14.781. 3 thousandths separating Triskio and Namsco for P2. And then less than 3 thousandths separating Triskio and Jan for P1. You've then also got Cloud in P4, not too far off, about 2/10, 10th and a half in P4. Carlos Galindo for Spain, also within a 10th. This is super, super close here up at the top, and even further down, I reckon it's going to be quite close. Looking here at Krisu and Knight. Knight driving for Poland at the moment, with Krisu going for Finland, and the gap between them as well, less than 3 thousandths. I told you, it's super, super close up and down the grid. Kevin Denise driving for Brazil needs to pick up the pace slightly, a 16.392. Maybe went out on the wrong tyre compound. Who knows what could have happened there. And we then still have a few other drivers to set some laps as well. 4 of them to be precise. Abdullah, Chris, Nick Arrow and Kamensky. Kamensky is actually out on circuit at the moment. He's driving for the Czechia squad this season. And if I remember correctly, no, he wasn't out for them last week when... No, sorry, not last week. He's not out... Sorry, I need to reorganize my brain. He wasn't there for qualifying. There we go. That's what I meant to say after all that babbling. But he's out here tonight and currently in P17 with no laps set and 10 minutes on the clock. It is imperative that they get at least something on that clock to show for their efforts. Luca driving for Germany, invalidated lap time, currently in the top 10. Yanil going round circuit now, heading into the second sector soon as he goes through turns 3, 4 and 5. We've got some support for the Netherlands from Diamen van Vinsen, with Mays cheering on the UK squad, which is unfortunately non-existent this season. And then, of course, we have Iker Jimenez Rodriguez saying, "Vamos España!" Of course, shouting for Spain. Now, speaking of Spain, what do you guys think who do you guys think has got the biggest chance at taking this championship or taking a win here today? Who do you guys think will be on top just in general? Because according to the Discord votes, Spain came out on top with 21 votes, 28% of people thinking that Spain is going to come out on top in this championship, be the first Nations E-League champion. Some other contenders, though, were the Netherlands, with 15% of votes going to them, Finland with 14% of votes going to them, and then 11% going to Czechia. And I can see where those are coming from. Spain has just been solid all round. We saw them at the social races. They were pretty solid. Qualifying, they came in at P3. I'm really surprised though that Australia isn't in there. Only 7% of people think that Australia has got a chance at being the champions. And I mean, they came in P2 last week. I keep saying last week, sorry, at the qualifying session, last round essentially. But Czechia, definitely well grounded there. 11% of people thinking they will come out on top. They've been on top pretty much all kind of social race season long. They've been on top for a very long time. Finland, I think that's mainly going on just their consistency during qualifying, and then of course their magnificent performance over at Silverstone in the second social race. But you know, there could be all sorts of reasons why those countries are where they are. Oh my goodness, you can see a car there in the background. I suspect that's the Australian car of is it Riley? No, we have got we have got a yellow and green car, so that could also potentially be a Brazilian car, actually. Could be Yao, actually. Yeah, that was Yao Piana taking some massive evasive action to get out of the way, so that the car ahead could get a decent lap time. No, it wasn't, actually. That wasn't it. Who was it? Ah, that was Kevin. That was Kevin Denise driving for Brazil, making his way around the circuit now and just hopping out of the way just so that he's kind of not in the way of anyone. Are you back in, Mike? Are you in? One second, Mike. I don't think you're coming through. Hold it. For some reason, this thing is giving us hassles once again. I do apologise. There we go. Will that work?
Am I coming through now?
There we go. I apologise. Let's see. Will this work now? So yeah, take it away, Mike, and then we'll do another quick test. Technical issues.
Am I coming through? Can everyone hear me in the chat? Can you hear me? But yeah, in terms of the poll, which was just closed in the chat, a lot of people are thinking that outside of the top 3, in terms of qualifying 2 weeks ago, that's where the winner of the Nations E-League is going to come from.
There we go. Yeah, you are coming through, Mike. Sorry, I was just a bit
lovely
preoccupied with that. Cool. Anyways, yeah. So, top 3 then. Coming through. Jan Halliday just comes across the line, went from P3 straight up to pole position. 5:34 versus the 5:73 from Galindo. Again, not disappointing when it comes to the statistics. Spain up there as well as, of course, Czechia. Trisk for the Netherlands, also not doing too badly, up in P3 at the moment. Cloud for the US, surprising us slightly. They weren't really too much in the spotlight over the course of qualifying and the social races. But yeah, Trisk going for the Netherlands. Definitely helping the Dutch fans out there.
Yeah, absolutely, and doing a fantastic job for the Dutch fans out there as well. As Jan, though, is the man who is sitting in the best spot at the moment. He's currently on pole position.
Lovely. Lovely, jubbly. As you all know. I'm just having a look at some of these cars going around the circuit now. Cloud is on a flyer, it looks like, or he's just making his way around circuit very, very quickly to get to the pit lane. Namsco is now on a flyer for France as well. He's currently on an outlap. We've got something to look forward to there. Cloud is coming in as well. Lovely. Alu currently going around. I'm assuming Alu is Alexei for Finland, right?
I believe so, yes. I'm just quickly going to do a little check on that. I believe he is, yes.
Just judging by the colours, because it was the blue and white that we saw at Silverstone. Everything went a bit haywire in the qualifying session when it came to colours and whatnot, and my ability to understand who is in which car and in which team. Yanil, though, he has no doubt about where he is going. He is heading upwards and onwards. He is currently 400ths behind Luca, driving for the German squad, but Yanil in the Dutch car is now making his way around the final corner, and he seemed to be improving throughout the couple sectors, and he's improved very well indeed, up 4/10, and that's brought him up into the top 3. 6.76 versus the 6.84 from Trisk in the Dutch car as well. So we've got 2 Dutch cars up in our top 4, up on our top 5. Looking very nice for our Dutch fans indeed, shaping up to be a very good session. Whereas Spanish fans, they've got Carlos. Where's Abdullah though? Abdullah's down on P16. Not quite what they're looking for, I imagine.
No, not quite yet. Obviously, they've got the one driver up there, and I'm assuming that there will be an improvement coming in for them over the remainder of the session. Abdullah will get himself up there for the Spanish, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time. Well, actually, no, he doesn't. 2 minutes to go. I've got my eye on Krisu. We've seen him perform quite well under pressure at Silverstone as part of the Finnish squad, but he does allow the German car of Tom through there as well. Other names to keep an eye on, Denis Kamensky still hasn't set a lap. That could be a wild car. The Czech car currently down in P18, while his teammate Jan is up in P1 on opposite sides of the spectrum. I could definitely see Kamensky getting a lap in and it being decent, but I don't quite see it being pole or in the top 3. Who else could we keep an eye on? Bidzieski for Poland, maybe? Same with Knights.
Sorry, the game audio then was very loud for me. I didn't quite hear what you said then.
No worries. I was debating whether the Polish squad is going to be out in force tonight, whether they'll get something done.
I mean, you can't rule them out now. The Polish guys will definitely be out there and looking to improve on what they've got going on. Of course, representing Poland, obviously you got Powers and Badzinski. Obviously, Badzinski is currently in P9, and of course, Powers. I don't think he's one of the missing drivers, if I'm remembering correctly at the moment.
I see, but I swear Knight is it Knight Polish? I think. So he might be like a reserve driver, I reckon.
Potentially, if there was a late change, possibly. I will double check this for you now.
Cool. Well, we've just seen Piana come across the line, finishing the job for him there in P12. We've got Krisu now making his way through for the Finnish cars. Jan defending in the second sector. He was 0.033 seconds faster in his first sector. Carlos Galindo up 4/10 in his first sector, although that might have been something from last lap. Yes, it was. He's now 0.3 slower. Tom comes in at P6, improving up to a 14.777. Janil for the Dutch squad has unfortunately not managed to finish the qualifying session, but that puts him above P3. And then Trisk going round, he has invalidated his lap time, so I don't imagine him getting anything in, but he is still going full send, and so is Jan across the line. Can he make his time even better? Can he defend his position even better? Yes, he can. 14.2. That's a new pole position time. Carlos just now making his way into the final hairpin. Knight comes up into P3, stealing that P3 spot from Janil. Trisk is across the line, can't do anything. Here comes the Spanish car of Carlos Galindo. Can he take pole position? No, he can't. There's a 14.5 for him. Any more drivers come across? Piana still to move across, but I think that's pretty much our whole grid done.
Yeah, we saw a slight improvement from Abdullah for the Spanish as he crossed the line, but finished in P14 while his teammates up there in P2. Big gap between the pair of them. Knight with a big improvement for Poland. Yes, he was Polish. I did double check that for you. Big improvement for him up into the top 5. And Jackson, take the first pole position of the series.
Perfect. I mean, that's just what they did back in Silverstone for the first qualifying session of our qualifying runoffs, I guess you could say, our qualify eliminations. Last round, Jan on top, Carlos Galindo in the Spanish car P2, and then a Polish car suddenly up in P3. The Dutch drivers of Janil and Trisk rounding out your top 5, and we'll have a rundown of all of our drivers soon. But for now, we have a quick little break as we head into the race, as our teams prepare for the race. Join us in just a few moments. One. Hello and welcome back to the CTC Season 1 Nations E-League Championship. And today you join us here at Australia in Melbourne for the first race of the season, the opening round here. But before we can get going, we just need to quickly tell you, give you a word about our sponsors. First off is the Virtual Setup Engineer, VSE. It's the brand new setup shop for all your setup needs. And they offer setups for all tracks, plus a custom chatbot so you can customize the setup to your driving style. And then, of course, we've got Pivot, a marketing agency offering graphic and video designers to elevate your brand or business. And, of course, as usual, check out all their X's, check out all their Twitter accounts in the stream description. Now, word for our sponsors over. We need to start wording our grid for this evening, our first race of the season. Jan lining up on P1, Carlos Galindo in P2, Knight and Yanil in the second row with Trisk and Cloud rounding out your top 6. You've then got Tom, Nansko, Nick Arrow and Alu in your top 10 with Chris, Yao Piana, Luca, Abdullah, and then the final 4 drivers, Ryan Bakar, Krisu, Kevin, Denise, and Dennis Kamensky, rounding out your grid for tonight. We have got a whole team missing tonight. Can you believe that? Mike, Australia not showing up on their home soil.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, if there's anything like real life Formula One, there is a curse on the Australians down under. So maybe they were a little bit nervous of that curse and that happening to them. But yep, no Australian representation here tonight, unfortunately. So we got the 9 other teams, 9 other nations in. And we are going to be seeing who is going to be coming out on top. As you mentioned, Jan taking the pole position for Chechnya. And that is the first pole position of the championship. And no one can take that away from them now. They were the first.
Yep, that first point is going to be absolutely key come the end of the championship. I know it's a bit early to think about it. It always is in the first half, I reckon. You know, you don't really think too much about the points that you gain in the first half of the season. You don't mind maybe losing a position here or there, but here we go. Drivers are lined up, ready for the lights, and it's go time. And 18 cars go roaring down to turn 1 to start. 29 laps of racing. It's been a good start for the Czech out in front. We've then got the Spanish driver Carlos Galindo behind, waiting for an opportunity, and there is chaos towards the rear of the grid. Knight got away well as well. Trisk looking for an opportunity at some point as well. He managed to get past Yanil really quickly, but that is already a safety car already from the start. All it's saying is yellow flags for me, caution sector 1, but I suspect it is a safety car.
I think we got a virtual safety car at this moment in time. Unfortunately, the Finnish driver of Alexis Kovro has unfortunately crashed out of the race on the exit of turn number 2 as the green flags are waved once again. Abdullah, of course, the Spanish driver, looks to be suffering with a bit of front wing damage as he's struggling to stay onto the back of João Pinena up ahead. So we've got a wounded Spaniard, and we've got a Finnish driver who's unfortunately out of the session.
Straight off the bat, Krisu, his teammate's gone. I'm not sure he's going to be very confident heading into this race. He's only scoring 2 points at the moment. Of course, that is plenty of opportunity to improve. I mean, considering where Krisu started, he started in P16. He's already up 2 positions from where he was at the start. You know, it's not shaping up to be too bad a session for him. Now is going to be the time to make up most of those positions, you'd think. But of course, you do need to keep it safe. Like Luca just demonstrated, if you're not safe, you're going to receive a penalty for track limit infringement. And speaking of playing it safe, we have got Cloud looking at the rear end of Namsko, the American guy going for the Frenchman out in front. 0.2 seconds as they make their way now through turns 5 and then into turns 6, 7 and 8, heading out onto Lakeside Drive for that DRS zone. Could we see a move here? Not quite. It's not quite as close as we think. Well, Ryan Bakar, though, is now on the inside, heading into turn 9. He's going to get that move done nice and easy. Up into P9 he goes, but of course it's our top 15 that score points. A little further up, Nick Arrow just got past Kevin Denise as well. Again, Americans making moves tonight. It's looking good for them.
Yeah, it absolutely is. The Americans are climbing themselves up the field as Kaminsky has just managed to get through on Luca as well. So the German in Luca starting to fall down the order a bit. Not good for the Germans' prospects here in Australia, as Dennis Kaminsky has moved himself up into P10. So both Chechens now inside the top 10, both French drivers in the top 10, and both of the Dutch drivers in the top 10.
I'm hearing a lot of familiar names from the popular squads that we've had listed in some of the various quizzes. Well, no, it's not quiz, poll. There we go. That's the word for it. In the various polls and votes that we've set. And at the moment, yeah, as you said, Czech squad out in front. We've got the Spanish up there as well. But I don't think anyone betted on Knight being up there for the Polish squad. And actually, he seems to be sizing up the Spanish car of Carlos Galindo ahead 0.2 seconds as they make their way through Lakeside Drive once more into turn 9. This is going to be a very popular overtaking spot come the rest of the race. We're only 3 laps in, and we've got another DRS zone here to look forward to. Knight looks towards the inside, a little glance there. Not quite going for the full move though. It's always nice to keep your wheels slightly to the side just in case you need to dive to the side. And of course, we need to remember these guys don't have any ABS, they don't have any assists on, so any kind of mistake like that is going to be punished very, very heavily.
Yeah, absolutely. I think right now for these guys in the train, it's all about ERS management. You see in Knight, he is getting onto the back of Carlos, but look at the ERS management between the pair of them. Knight using quite a bit of his ERS to try and get himself a position, and Carlos right now is chilling and almost matched, but he goes a little bit deep through turn 3, and that might open the door. And what's happened to Knight? Knight has completely gone on the order.
Oh my goodness, just as we look away, something's happened down at turn 3 out of Horty Drive, and he's now dropped all the way down to P12, and he's definitely got some damage on the front left wing. It's not looking good for the Polish. We were just talking about how good they've done so far, and now they've dropped all the way down to P12. Not looking good for them at all. And
yeah,
then we've also got Yanil and
Trask
swap in position, for the Dutch squad. So maybe some team orders also being used here to try and get Yanil back up into the top 3 and start working on that gap to Carlos.
Yeah, absolutely. There was definitely a change in the order right there from the Dutch pairing as Yanil overtaking Trisk. Up into P3 goes Yanil now as he tries to get onto the back of Carlos Galindo, the Spaniard, currently in P2, and he's happy right now. He's just sitting in the DRS range, not using much ERS. He's just letting himself get towed along, keeping his tyres nice and fresh to maybe pounce a little bit later into the stint.
Looked like Kevin Denise was also struggling there slightly, maybe a little bit of damage. I'm just looking at, I was hoping for a close in the gap between Yaupiana and Kevin for P14 to kind of solidify whether there is any damage to the Brazilian car. But I'm not sure because Carrizo just flew by and Kevin's just holding on to that gap. So, I mean, there could be damage there. It could just be the straight up slipstreaming effects on the straights, but I don't think so. I think there might... I'm not sure. Do you reckon there is damage to Kevin Denise's car?
I'm on a look. I've not seen any visual damage off board, but you never know. He could maybe have a bit of a light bit of damage on the front end plate there, so you never know.
Here we go, Cloud, having a look up the inside of Namsko. Again, the American hoping for a chance at that French P6 position. No luck for him there, but he is applying very good pressure on him. He's within 2/10 all the way. Now it's whether he can hold on for the DRS zone, get a good exit out of here, maybe make a move up into turn 1. It looks to be favourable. He's got the DRS. Here we go. He's going to be using some of his ERS this time. No, still chooses to hold back just a little bit. Maybe he's picking and choosing his moments. He's only going to take it if it's gifted to him on a plate. And here we go, round the outside into turn 3. It's not quite going to be the easiest spot to overtake, and he can't quite get that move done. But I think Cloud, he's coming past at some point. That's just a given. It's a given. I reckon Cloud's coming past.
Maybe, but if Namsko defends hard enough, he's going to open the door for his teammate, Rayan Bakar, in behind, and he can maybe pounce on the American in front.
I mean, it's looking to be that way. Ryan now within 0.2 seconds of Cloud as well, 0.236, but Cloud is even closer to the first French car as it goes round the outside of turn 9. Can he get this move done? The French car loses traction, and now the American has made his way up into P6, a move for fairly long, a long time coming. And now Ryan Bacard and Namsko are involved with Denis Kamensky as well. Kamensky doing very well. The other Czech up into the top 10, now up into the top 8 as he makes his way past Namsko, making the most of that situation. Namsko's maybe loss of traction, maybe a bit of tyre wear there, not doing him any good. Nick Arrow, the other American, also getting involved with Namsko now, but they need to watch out for Luca behind as well. He sees potential here for a top 10 finish, or a top 10 position at least, and Namsko has dropped down 3 positions in the course of just a few corners. I would say maybe a whole sector.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what happens when you do make a mistake. Of course, coming through the fast left, right of turns 9 and 10. Looked like he turned in a bit too early and just lost the back end and the brake end. Maybe a little bit on the brakes, locking up the rears, and that just lost him more momentum. His teammate Rayan managed to get past, followed by Denis Kaminsky coming through down in towards turn number 11, and Namsko lucky to stay ahead of Nick Arrow there as well.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud was doing very, very well at applying pressure there. He was applying constant pressure. It was hard pressure. Oh my goodness, Denis Kaminsky has just left the session. Is that maybe just internet connection issues? I hope so, because he's done very well to get up into that top 10, and he's now dropping down. What's happened there?
Not entirely sure what has happened there with Denis Kaminsky. Hopefully he can get himself back into the session ASAP. We will see if he's able to get himself into the session at some point. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. At the front, Janel's starting to close in on Carlos Galindo and applying a bit of pressure for that P2. But it looks like Carlos is just, his ERS management is just so impressive up there at the moment. And just holding the Dutch drivers at bay for the time being.
Yeah, the Spanish have always been pretty good at just being consistent. They don't push too hard at the start. We saw that especially at Silverstone for the second social race. They just kept it consistent, and towards the end, that's where you could really see the push coming. Just their overall consistency as well. Here we go though, Luca on Namsko. Namsko to lose yet another position, this time to a German car. Around the outside he goes, he's got the DRS. Not too much work for him. Up into P9 we go, into turn 9 and turn 10. Call it fate, call it a curse, I don't know. It seems to be fate because it's positively benefited his position now. Sorry, that's up into, yeah, no, that is up into P9, yeah. So for a second I thought it was P8. Thought I'd been calling the wrong position there.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Luca up into P9. Namsko down to P10 now. Hoping to get Denis Kaminsky back in as quickly as possible, as he has fallen all the way down towards the back of the field now, and yeah, it's heartbreaking to see.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing so well at the start. It's just like, I don't understand how he can just fall so rapidly. But now we see the 2 Dutch cars of Yanil and Tresk still up in the top 4. That's kind of the image of consistency right now here at Australia for the time being. And of course, Jan just setting the pace all round. He of course doesn't have DRS, but he's still managing to hold on to that lead fairly securely. Tom seems to be shaping up for something at some point as well. The German car looking for some positions. I reckon Cloud, he's on a rampage at the moment. He just wants to get some positions. I could see Cloud coming past into P5 at some point in the near future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Cloud is on a charge right now, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to get himself into the top 5 as he's closing up on the German driver of Tom, who is currently holding onto that P5 right now and doing a very good job of holding that P5 as well, I might add.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at the quali results though. Cloud started in P6, so something happened at the start and has dropped him a couple places. Tom though, he's up 2 spots from where he started, so for Cloud. You know, party's only just started. He's only now trying to make a profit on all his effort here. It would be such a pity if it just stopped here. But of course, you know, he's got that competition. He's got the Germans. He's got the Dutch ahead of him. He's got the Spanish. He's got the Czechs all ahead of him. As the penalties now flow in as well for some drivers. Ryan Bakar, Chris Bedzierski, Yao Piana, Namsko, and Luca all struck with 3-second time penalties. I'm assuming that's all for track limits, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, I just sent an invite out to Dennis Kaminsky to try and get him back into the session. So hopefully he is able to get in. I believe there is a glitch in the timings right now. Obviously, it says he's 32 seconds off the back of Knight, which I don't think is the case. I think he is ahead of Brzezinski there in P14 right now. So we'll try and get back in as soon as possible.
Yeah, I reckon he'll be fine. Nick Arrow heads into the pits already. Very early pit stop. Oh my goodness, and he's messed it up as well. 10-second time penalty. Not looking good as we have a few drivers into the pits. Creso, the Finn driver, also joining him in the pit lane. Might I add, one of the shortest pit lanes in F1. Well, I say one of. It is the shortest pit lane in F1 at the moment, taking a mere 17 seconds to get from the first line to the end. Just 281 meters long, apparently. Not quite the statistics I'm used to seeing or would usually care seeing, but I mean, that's quite interesting when it comes to thinking about drive-throughs and stop and goes, as would be on the mind of Nick Arrow at the moment, who's down in P12 and has got that 10-second penalty to worry about as well if he does another stop, because it is really early. Lap 11 of 29. We've still got another 17 to go. Just whether he can make those tyres last, but I mean, I think he's definitely going to be on hards. I mean, softs are going to be a bit hard to try and get there. But yeah, he's got the hard tyre compound on, so he's just going to have to try and make that last to the end. Same as a couple of the other drivers out there tonight. I think I saw Creso, Abdullah, and Knight all with that as well. Here comes Carlos Galindo and Yanil into the pits as well. Spanish and Dutch teams calling in one of their drivers each. And that gives Trisk a 1.9 second gap to make up to Jan, and he's already managed to make up a 10th on that as well. Jan putting out a lead on Trisk, 2 seconds. If he can open that gap, that is going to leave him with plenty of space for his pit stops.
Yeah, I think as Brzezinski has retired and left the session, I'm not sure what's happened there. Is he just come into the pits and retired?
I have no clue. I can't remember seeing the notification go up he's into the pits, but I mean, it when things are moving so rapidly, sometimes, you know, you can miss things. But yeah, I mean, Biedziewski, yeah, the Polish squad not kind of very lucky tonight. Knight had an incident earlier on, and now it's Biedziewski out. It's crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately not good there for the Polish outfit, as right now we're expecting to see the top 8 all peel off into the pits very soon, as Jan's in as well as Trisk, and they are into the pits, and set of hard tyres will be going on their cars right now.
Yeah, the gap. Oh, and Namsko also hit with a 10-second time penalty. His day goes from worse to something worse than worse, which I don't know the word for, or if you wanted to say it normally, bad to worse. But it's been a very, very bad day for him at the moment. Hit by a 10-second time penalty now as well. That's gonna hurt. But I was just looking at the gap between Jan and Trisk when he headed into the pits. It was 2.6 seconds. He made a proper good gap there.
Yeah, but the big thing to take from this is obviously the undercut has paid dividends for not only Carlos Galindo, because he's managed to get himself into the net race lead now, but also Nick Arrow, the American, has got himself into a net P2 ahead of Jan, and Jan being just ahead of Janel. Both of them need to try and get through on the American, because the American does have that time penalty, but he's going for a move around the outside of Carlos Galindo as side by side with Jan midway through turn 9. Very close to all going wrong there. And this right now is what happens when you don't have DRS.
Oh, Galindo at the mercy of these two cars. Contact between them as they made their way through turn 10. He's already allowed the Czech and the American through, and now he's got another Dutch driver waiting behind him. 2 Dutch drivers, I should add, waiting behind him, who no doubt will be working together to try and get past. I mean, it's much easier when you've got comms with each other than it is to work with a stranger in another team, as we see Nick Arrow take another penalty. That's 13 seconds of penalties for him at the moment. He's still got that 10-second penalty from speeding in the pit lane. Now currently in the lead, and Jan currently in P2, 7/10 off.
Yeah, in P2, Jan now 7/10 off the back of Nick Arrow. Carlos Galindo in P3 with Jano and Trisk, the Dutch pairing, in P4 and P5. Looks like a little bit of a switcheroo going on as Trisk has been let go by Janel to go now on the charge.
Interesting. So they let Janel past earlier to see what he can do. Now they're letting the other Dutch driver past to see if he can do anything. But here we go. Namsko actually starting to recover from his earlier embarrassment. Now up to P9 as he made his way past Luca in the DRS zone through Lakeside Drive, and it's turn 9. It's good to see Namsko at least. He got past that mental block of I suck, I'm losing positions. He's now on the charge once again, hoping to make some more positions in the German sandwich right now of P8 and P10. He's got some ground to make up though. Do you reckon he can do it, Mike? Do you reckon we could see Namsko make it back up into the top 5 at least?
It's going to be a tall order for him. He's in a bit of a train right now of Cloud P7, Tom P8, as you mentioned, Namskol P9 and Luca there in P10. They're going to be trying to have a bit of a loose partnership right now as they try to DRS tow themselves back up to the back of Rayan Bakar in P6, and then they're going to have to try and work together to try and tow themselves up to the top 5, who are 1.5 seconds clear of Rayan there in P6. So a lot of work for them to do, but they could do it as Jan gets through on Nick Arrow up into the race lead once again for the Czech driver.
Very nicely done, and the American not quite going down without a fight. If he can back these guys up, he can maybe bring Cloud into this, because well, actually they need to get that gap down between Rayan Bakar and Yanil as well. And actually just there we saw Trisk having to take evasive action. Carlos maybe braking a little bit earlier than he thought, maybe sitting on the apex slightly on the exit as well to try and hold them up. But the gap between Trisk and Carlos is looking fairly close here for P3. I imagine we could maybe see a move out into the second DRS zone, maybe not the first one. Although he's gonna make me eat my words. I almost said bite my words. I mean, it's not quite the wrong terminology, but it's not the usual terminology that you would use. As Carlos Galindo is now also right up on the rear end of that first American car and putting pressure on him. And Dennis once again, some sort of issue there.
Yeah, absolutely issue there for Dennis. Not ideal for him as he's trying to get himself up the order as best as possible. But yeah, I mean, he's back in the lobby. That's the good thing for Dennis Kaminsky. But he definitely needs a safety car to bring him back into this race realistically.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking earlier, just about how Dennis has managed to improve so well, getting from P18 up to like top 10. Something happened at the back of the grid, first lap, first corner, and then just this unfortunate stuff with the. I'm assuming it's connection based, but it could be anything at this point. But yeah, I mean, like you said, safety car is going to be the one thing to bring it in. Where do you reckon we'll see a safety car though? Could we see it in the battle for P1 at some point? I don't think so. Could we see it from a Dutch miscommunication between the drivers? One saying, okay, you go, no, I want to have a go. And then they just end up battling and papaya rules go out the window. Literally, because of course their favourite colour is orange. Yeah, I can't quite see a safety car coming in to ruin this anytime soon. Everyone seems fairly well spaced out.
For right now, at least, as Crystal has managed to rejoin the session, it seems that I think the servers right now are having some difficulty right now. I think EA's having a lot of issues right now with the servers, because there's definitely a lot of connection issues going on tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you were sample one, and then of course Dennis, Budziarski, and now of course Creasy. But it did look as though you managed to rejoin the session, so at least he's still racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we're on lap 18 of 29. Jan leads the way ahead of Nick Arrow in P2. Carlos Galindo in P3 with Trisk and Jano P4 and P5. The two Flying Dutchman up there in the top 5. And right now, if you're looking on the face of it, it's a good race so far if you're a fan of the Dutch.
Yes indeed, P4 and P5. Two drivers in the top 5. America isn't too bad as well. Arrow and Cloud, P2 and P7. But of course, the penalties from Nick Arrow still need to be sorted out. And that's going to be 13 seconds, which is absolutely massive. That will probably drop him down to somewhere P11, P12. But you still get those couple points at least. Unlike in F1, where it's only your top 10 that score points. But yeah, in terms of the Spanish squad as well, where's the other driver? Abdullah, P13. Yeah, not the best race for him as well. 23.4 seconds behind the rest of the grid. He's not really making up that gap anytime soon. And of course, for Czechia, yeah, there's just nothing they can do about Dennis as well. 32 seconds off of Creasy.
Well, I mean, it says 32 seconds, but I would think that there's definitely a bit of desync going on there.
Yeah. Dalu, of course, who earlier retired from the session as well, I'm assuming due to some sort of damage, has now properly left the session. Although, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about these messages that say left the session, has retired? You know, those kind of, sometimes it just confuses me. Like, what issues do we have? Well, I don't know what issues they have, but I know Carlos Galindo has an issue with Nick Arrow. He wants P2. Here we go, round the outside of turn 9. Lakeside Drive, once more the scene of another overtake very, very soon, but not this lap. 0.2 seconds again between Galindo and Arrow. No luck there. But it seems to be just time. It's just a matter of time whether Carlos can get past Nick at some point in the future, but he needs to be careful that they don't lose that DRS window to Jan, who is just now just over a second clear of Nick Arrow as they head out onto the main straight.
Yeah, I think this is a very tactical look there from Carlos Galindo on Arrow, because what he's done there is he has put the American under enough pressure that now obviously Nick Arrow has lost DRS, but now that allows Carlos Galindo to just cruise straight on by. But the issue is going to be closing that gap down, because you can see now it's 2.4 seconds.
And if the Dutch people have anything to say about it, they're going to close that gap as well, because Trisk is now 0.3 seconds off Nick Arrow as well. You've got all those drivers behind waiting to be served, as Cloud is now also having a battle with Ryan Bakar here for P6. 0.2 seconds as they head into Lakeside Drive once again. Tom also in the background waiting to pick up the pieces. The American once again round the outside, but we have actually here movement. Carlos Galindo dropping to Nick Arrow once again, and there's a car off in the background. That's Ryan Bakar. Oh no, the French driver out into the wall, and that might be, I don't think it's going to be a safety car because it's quite far away from the circuit, but
no safety car. But I did spot just before that incident happened a bit of ghosting and between the pair of them as they were approaching the turn 9, turn 10 fast left right. So I think desync is got to be the main culprit of that, and I think that's an issue that several drivers have had so far in this session. And if that's the case, obviously everyone's going to be driving extra cautiously now when trying to go for overtakes.
Well, it doesn't look like it for Trisk and Carlos Galindo, as there is more ghosting happening there. I think that is... Who's that being left behind? That wasn't Jan, was it? No, that was a back marker as Carlos Galindo comes out ahead of that little scrabble down at turn 3, 4, and 5, and now managed to make his way past Nick Arrow once again, but Trisk is just waiting. He's waiting for this DRS zone into turn 9. Lakeside Drive, once again, the scene of many an overtake. Cloud here also waiting to take the opportunity on a Dutch drive as he goes almost round the outside there. Nick Arrow once again making the position on Carlos Galindo. I reckon this might be a driver error in terms of driver line, but here we go. He's being assaulted by Trisk. The Dutch driver around the outside now of turn 11. Can he make that stick? He's still side by side. Now he's dropped back behind. Trisk has given it an effort. Now will they let Yanil pass to take a move? Oh my goodness, there's contact between the two Dutch cars. Papaya rules once again out the window. Cloud now also up there. 0.1 seconds as we head out onto the main straight. 8 laps to go. I have no clue where to look. We have Trisk on Carlos. Carlos on Nick Arrow. Here we go into turn 1. Carlos looking really good here, putting some really good pressure on Nick Arrow. He's got Trisk just behind as well as Yanil. Cloud also there. Tom being brought into this as well. Here we go. It's a massive battle here. Yanil at the inside of his teammate Carlos Galindo just putting pressure on Nick Arrow. Just trying to stay as close as he can. Cloud making the most of that situation. Up past Yanil as well. Tom also riding behind them now too. And Carlos Galindo still stuck behind Nick Arrow. It's going to be another fun drive down Lakeside Drive into turn 10.
Yeah, but what we're going to have now with all these drivers so bunched up with each other is going to be... There's going to be some side-by-side action through turn 9 and 10. I can assure you of that. I'm not sure who it is that's going to be side-by-side, but there's definitely going to be at least some side-by-side. And it looks like Yanel and Tom were the two that were almost side-by-side there for P6 and 7. As I believe Yanel with a bit of front wing damage. Yes, indeed, missing a front left end plate. Really going to hinder his hopes and dreams here tonight, but the best he can do is try to stay onto the back of this train, try not to lose as much time by fighting these guys as much as possible, because he could jump these guys on penalties by the end of the race.
And while all this happens, look at the gap between Nick Arrow and Jan. This has worked out perfectly for the race leader, 9 seconds, but the gap between Carlos Galindo and Nick Arrow is now minus 0.1 seconds. He's managed to make his way past. Can he stay ahead at turn 9? Trisk, though, wants to get past, hopefully eliminate that error there. Tom also waiting for an opportunity. Trisk up the inside of Nick Arrow. Can he make that move stick? He's got a left-hander here. Got to be a king coming up. He's off the circuit there as well. Can he keep it on just about? As there is contact between them, contact between himself and the wall. And once again, we head out onto Lakeside Drive in no time. 0.1 seconds here between numerous drivers. Kyle, the American up there. Tom, the German, also up into P6. They're making the most of this situation, but Arrow has now dropped 1.2 seconds behind Carlos. So now it's a battle from P3 onwards for positions. Cloud having a look in the background on Trisk as well. This could go anywhere in this top 6, top 7, top 8, top 9, top 10, shall I say, this massive long train.
Yeah, absolutely. Take your pick on who's going to be where at the end of this race. Of course, we're on lap 23 of 29, about to come on to lap 24. And right now, I mean, Carlos Galindo has managed to break away, so he's hoping now that he can just get clear and secure P2 for the Spanish team. As it looks like Jan, for the Chechens, he's in another world right now, and he's happy that he got away when he did, because I don't think he would have loved to have been part of that. Right now, Trisk for the Dutch team is currently holding on to a net P3, but he has Cloud all over the back of him. The American, he's in an American sandwich as well with Nick in front of him. Will we get some American teamwork right now to get Cloud that podium?
I think we could see something here. Nick Arrow, he's just been so good all race, ever since the pit stops, really. He's just been straight up there and being good at keeping Carlos Galindo behind. But of course, inevitably then opening the gap. But here we go. This is Trisk's opportunity, and Cloud tags along as well. So now Nick Arrow has dropped down to P5. It's Trisk and then Cloud, P3, P4. And we can see Tom sizing up Nick Arrow for a position here as well. Is Nick's brief now to continue defending? He tries, but there's nothing he can do against the German that wants that inside line. Up to P5 goes Tom, and he's made that move stick very well. But again, here we go. You lose something somewhere, and Nick Arrow has lost it into the gravel trap. Down at turn 12, 13, and 14, and he's now down to P9, joining Yanil, who earlier had also been doing so very well up in the top 5, and now find themselves struggling to stay in the top 10.
Yeah, the good thing for Yanil, though, is that he has no penalties to his name, so he is looking to jump the 4 names in front. So he's holding on to a net P6 right now. He just needs to hope that the battling stays close up ahead, that he can stay onto the back of these guys.
I mean, considering the last couple laps, I reckon, yes, I reckon he might do that. But any kind of improvement for the rest of the grid further up? Oh no, Yanil retired from the session as well. We were literally just talking about how he could improve so well, but now he's gone. What's happened there? Is it? I'm assuming it was some sort of collision, because now we have a virtual safety car.
Is that a safety car that has been deployed, or is that a virtual safety car? I think it's a VSC that has been deployed right there.
Yeah, virtual safety car for the time being. I mean, that works out fairly well for Jan, as long as, you know, that delta stays consistent. So as long as it doesn't turn into a safety car for him, this is all right. You know, he's still okay. But if this were a proper safety car and it turns into a full-on safety car, that could be very bad for his chances at holding on to the race lead. I mean, he's just been too consistent, though. I mean, if it were to change, then, you know, I'm not sure Galindo could do too much with it, as Nick Arrow heads into the pits, I'm assuming, to serve that 13-second penalty and maybe get some fresh tyres on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe right now everyone's just waiting for the virtual safety car to disappear, as I don't believe a full safety car has come out as of yet. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, as there we go, the green flag has been waved once again. And now, obviously, we have a three-way fight for the final spot on the podium between Trisk, Cloud, and Tom. Let's not rule out the possibility, though, with the remaining laps, that if they... I mean, they're not going to work together, but if they did, they could throw themselves onto the back of Carlos for P2.
I mean, 2.2 seconds in 4 laps, though. That's a big, big ask. I mean, we're on lap 26 here. True. I mean, 2.1 seconds. I'm not sure they have been working together. I mean, we'll see the results very, very quickly. But I'm also keeping an eye on the battle for P6 here. Well, it's more like the battle for P7 now. Luca and Yao Piana looking for those points as well. But yeah, that trio up there, Trisk, Cloud, and Tom, yeah, I mean, like you said, they could be working together, but Trisk, 2.2 seconds off of Carlos. I don't think that's quite working yet. I mean, look at that. Here's Carlos Galindo, 8.6 seconds. There's the crowd behind, 2.3 seconds behind, and then Jan, he's now making his way into Lakeside Drive. Carlos is just heading out onto turn 7 and 8, and then of course the rest of the pack. Carlos has managed to close that gap, though. I'm assuming it was because of the restarts. Was up at about 10-11 seconds, but now it's down to about 8.9. But I don't see him closing that gap in 3 laps, though. I reckon Jan has got this in the bag.
Yeah, I think Jan is the man right now that's just in prime position. There's absolutely no... I'm not going to say there's no hope, because anything can happen in Formula 1, as you know, but it really is all in Jan's hand right now.
Yeah, all the pressure sits on him. A mistake from him could cost him his country's chances at not only just a podium, a race win. What a way to start off your first race in the Nations E-League. Pole position, then a race win. If he can get the fastest lap as well, you know, this is the perfect, what do they call it? I know there's a certain term for it. It's not a hat trick. It's like a term in tennis almost.
The perfect weekend, isn't it? It's, if you get a fastest lap, race win, pole position, it's the perfect race weekend.
Well, there we go. Isn't it called the Grand Slam? I think that's what they call it.
No. You're referring to. Is it the Grand Slam of a race weekend? I'm not sure. I know Grand Slam in terms of you know, championships and like, you know, race wins and that. Obviously, Le Mans, Indy 500, and the Monaco Grand Prix. That's the Grand Slam that I know.
Yeah. Well, while we were debating about Grand Slams, tennis, Le Mans, and some other racing series, Cloud snuck up into P3. He got past Trisk, and now is 1.6 seconds off of Carlos. They've managed to close that gap, so maybe we are starting to see some of that teamwork, but it is the final lap now, lap 29 of 29. Where is Jan? Jan is now making his way through the parking lots of the stadium. Carlos now just down into turn 3. They're going to cross that line much earlier than the rest of the grid. We've got Trisk, Tom, Namsko, Luca, Yao Piana, Kevin Denise, and Nick Arrow as your top 10, while Ryan Bakar is in P11, Knight P12, Abdullah P13. But Abdullah did just set the fastest lap, so we could see an extra point for him there as well. Of course, we need to keep in mind these guys up at the top of the grid. Jan has got nothing but clear air in front of him, and he's also got the... how do you say it? He's looking forward to that race win now. He's just got a few more corners to go. It's been absolutely dominant for this Czech.
Yeah, absolutely. Once the battling started happening behind him between Carlos and Arrow, it was complete. It was complete ease then for Jan to just pull the gap, pull away, and now he's gonna come through and take the victory.
Jan Halliday wins the first round of the Nations E-League here at CTC. A well-deserved victory for the Czech. Carlos Galindo comes across in P2 with Cloud rounding out your podium finishing positions as the penalties now get applied to that mid-grid. Nick Arrow, Ryan, Knight and Abdullah all also still to serve their penalties. Kevin Denise making a position on Namsko due to the penalties as well. And the Americans not doing too badly with Cloud up on that podium position, up from P6. He's been doing very well this race, potentially even driver of the day for me personally. What do you think, Mike?
I mean, for me, if I gotta go driver of the day, I have to go with Jan, because Jan didn't put a foot wrong the entire race. But I'm very interested to see what's going to happen here, because obviously on the timetable it does say that Chrisu is ahead of Dennis Kaminsky, but I believe this is a complete desync. Actually, no, maybe not, as he's just been blue flagged and I'm through. Okay, so there we go. That answered my question. I thought that was desync and Dennis was ahead of Chris, but it appears Chris will come through in 14th and Dennis will come through in 15th.
Joy and heartbreak, I guess. Just complete polar opposite emotions for the Czech team. They had one driver start from very low down, get up to about P10, then drop in the final half of the race, while Jan had the perfect race up in P1, other than Nick Arrow maybe getting in there, getting a bit annoying for them. I think Nick Arrow's also done a really good job. I think the American squad overall, they've just been absolutely amazing here at Australia. Of course, Carlos Galindo keeping cool and calm under all the pressure, and the moment he got the clear air, the moment he got just the smallest whiff of clean air, he was gone. He was 2 seconds up the road, and the rest couldn't get up there. The Dutch squad also really good at sticking together up until about the halfway point, but I say that, I was hoping they would probably still finish close, but Janil did end up retiring from the session, currently down in P14, but that will turn into P16, is it? I think. Once the other drivers cross the line.
Yes, I believe obviously with Chrisu and Dennis are both unfortunate that they've been hit with the connection issues and that as well, because they've disconnected, and I believe Dennis has rejoined, but I believe Chrisu has also managed to rejoin. is kind of bugged them out. So that is why they haven't seen the checkered flag yet. But they're 14th and 15th.
Yeah, yeah. And then we've got Yanil, Chris, and then Alu. The only thing I wish we could have for these broadcasts is a race replay. That is the only thing I wish we had, because I really want to see what happened at the start there. There was utter chaos on the first lap, first corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe this is where I believe we're not going to get to see the podium celebrations or anything, because I feel that the lobby is just going to continue until the host leaves, and I'm not sure who the host is.
It's same time remaining 001.
Yeah, I believe that the lobby is completely bugged.
Oh dear. Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, what a way to start the first race of the season, though. We had drama, we had chaos, we had utter dominance. Czech dominance, good ball fans. You know, all that good jazz. Yeah, I think you're right here. I think we've got nothing left but to wrap up as we conclude our first race of the CTC Nations E-League Championship. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been an absolutely incredible race. So I guess we could go back into talking about driver of the day. You still think it's Jan?
Yeah, for me, Jan is the driver of the day, without question. I mean, obviously in a race like this, I mean, it's unfortunate, because I feel like the desync has maybe caused like a lot of incidents now between drivers that potentially might have robbed them of a brilliant race. But yeah, I think in terms of just who just drove their race and drove it the best, it has to go to Jan for me.
Yeah. I can definitely see that being a popular choice as well. In terms of like the best improvement, I think the Dutch guys, they were kind of just hanging on in there. But yeah, for me, it was either the German squad, Tom and Luca, or it was Cloud. For me, I think just Cloud, and yeah, he was just on it today. Starting P6, got back up there, and then made additional positions on that. For me, it was American driver Cloud. Yeah, I know he only got P3 at the end of the day, but it's still a podium for them. Still a good start to the season. A bad start to the season, of course, is for the Finnish squad in Alu, who retired really early on, actually, right at the start of the race. And their second driver, who is Krisu, also, struggling with connection issues. They've had an absolutely torrid race today. And then, of course, we mustn't forget the Australian squad that just hasn't turned up at all tonight. You'd think their home race, they would be all over it, but not tonight.
Yeah, I mean, no Australians representation here tonight is unfortunate. Hopefully they are back for round 2. And hopefully the servers and everything they are in a good spot now for the next race, because I feel like the connection and like we was having issues before the race even started, and it's just compiled. We had the restart now for safety as well, and it compiled again.
Yeah. I mean, you live and you learn. Next week we come back better, stronger, less technical hassles, hopefully. If we learn, but I think we learn pretty quickly. So yeah, hopefully next week will be slightly better when it comes to all those hassles. But I think we'll have to leave it there. Join us next week for round 2 in China, 6th of August. I think, Mike, that will be purely on you, because I will be somewhere else. I think I'll be on Wales. Lovely jubbly. And then, of course, I will join you guys back at round 3 for Austria. But yeah, any final words, Mike?
No, unfortunately, no final words. Obviously, we look forward to round 2, but until then, guys, thanks for joining us for tonight.
You've heard it from the man. This has been Yanis Mayer. This has been Michael Edwards. This has been CTC in Melbourne, Australia. thank you all so much for joining. We'll see you all next week. Good night.